I have to say, he's always dressed really nice, and I should have remembered that. I'm totally underdressed next to this guy. This guy's looking very sharp today, but hey, he has a very high attention to detail, and that's super important when it comes to patient information, patient communication. We want someone who's has a high attention to detail. Now, the reason why I brought you on, obviously, people have seen videos of mConsent, and I like to say this. mConsent, when you strip everything away, their main thing is to make sure they get the right data in our practice. And that's so important. People are talking about white data. What are you talking about? Everyone's focused on all the bells and whistles, like, hey, is there text messaging? Is there analytics? Is there this and that? But at the end of the day, when it comes to your practice, you got to get the right data, meaning, the right phone number, the right name, all those things. You guys do such a good job of that. Before we go into all the new things, talk about why is that so important to you to make sure the data is correct for the practice owner?
I think the data is the number one thing. Getting paid is the most important thing.
Yes. You got to keep your doors open.
and making sure when you submit those claims, there are no data inaccuracies. And also, when you work as a dentist, you want your mind off from all this administration work.
Yeah.
You want your mind on your treatment. And as a company, what we do is that we want to make sure that anything that the patient enters, it goes right into your practice management system, and that's the truth, right?
Yeah.
So what we saw in early days is that a lot of times there's a communication issue when you have those times when paper used to be.
Oh yeah.
People used to fill out the information, and I saw a registration form and a medical history form where it surprised me that people would literally, scribble stuff.
Yeah, you can't read it.
And hand over to an office manager or a front office. And the front office would look at it and it's like, she's puzzled now because she wants to ask, hey, is it right? Or is she going to get offended? I don't want my relationship to start in a way where I'm questioning what she's writing.
Yeah.
So that becomes like an issue with front office is like, now they just go in and they just type in whatever
they just pretend, they just kind of wing it, and then what ends up happening is we don't have their right phone number,
or
we don't have the email
address,
or worse yet, the medical history is not right. Right? And then again, that leads to so many other things.
Have you seen those medical histories when you tell patient to fill out the medical history and they just and you're looking at them like, did you even read this, man?
Yeah.
So what I say is that, the data integrity is number one, whether it's dental, medical, whatever field you are in, but data integrity, what's coming into your practice management is super important. And when I say, and it's important not only for the claims, but also to keep yourself protected.
Sure, yeah.
Because if somebody is not completing their forms properly, the liability is high.
Yeah.
The liability is high. So I would say that's the number one thing for us as a company, and our team is great. And we have amazing people in our team who make sure that, we went through each and every part of the process, working with hundreds of dental offices in making sure that we protect them, not only from the claim submission processes, but also from the liability perspective.
I love that because, again, I led the podcast off with, you guys do what is considered like the basic function really good. And a lot of times people, they just get so enamored by a bunch of different features, right? Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, think about it. If you're going to buy a car, right, and it has all these features, all the features in the world doesn't mean anything unless the car actually drives, right? Like, it doesn't even start, right? So again, I'm not gonna make fun of Tesla because a lot of family members and friends have a Tesla. But man, remember like when there was that blizzard and people couldn't start their car because it was out in the cold? I'm just saying, guys. Again, you should park inside. But what I'm saying is, a lot of times we get so enamored by all the features, but if the platform that you're using does not get the basic information, what good is it, right? What good is all those things? But with that being said, mConsent is not just about just doing the basic stuff. You guys also focus on making things more efficient. So speaking of efficiency, you reached out to me a long time ago. You said, "Hey Glenn, we got this new feature. We're actually piloting it with a great client. He's going through it right now." And I said, "Well, tell me what it is. Why are you keeping this from me?"
Let me take you to place where
Yeah.
everybody
And I was gonna
knows this.
I would have
right?
asked you that. I would have asked you, like, well, how did that all start?
So this is something where I'm at the airport, right? And I don't have to go and talk to the lady anymore. I can go and, punch in my phone number
Yeah.
or my booking ID at the airport, and I can print out a boarding pass.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that boarding pass, if I don't have anything to check in, I can just go to security. So I think what is going to be the future of every retail or a storefront, or what you can call, is where you're dealing with patients. It's going to be a normalized that people would want to get check-in as fast as they can.
Yeah.
And part of that process not only just apply on the retail side, but also applies at the healthcare, retail healthcare, you can call it, right? So when you have a patient that have to wait for you just to see the front office for 20 minutes, that's a problem.
Oh yeah.
And the way different industries work in different ways, but the way everything is progressing, I think the next step is going to be that the patients want to self-check in themselves. And what they want to do is that not only self-check in themselves, but they want to take care of things that they need to on their phone, sitting there. Like, I want to check my emails. I want to check my, my schoolwork, whatever that is, while they're waiting for the doctor to check them in. So that's a most important thing. So 70% of people would complete their forms online. Like when you are sending them online, they'll do. But there's still those 30% who will come and ask you for, hey, what can I do?
Yeah.
Because I didn't complete it yet, right? So, but if you have a front office that's busy, and after that you tell them, hey, please, can you complete this? That takes them another 10-15 minutes. It's just they're gonna feel like, oh, why didn't you tell me?
Yeah.
Right. So to avoid those kind of situations, I'll give you a case study which I have seen a doctor who started her practice a year ago, right here in Dallas, and she didn't start with a front office, right? Her husband will come and help once in a while, but they would have like 2-3 patients just waiting for doctor to come and see them. So when they put the kiosk in, they're checking in, they're ready.
Yeah.
Like they're completing their forms, whatever they need to get done, the kiosk will tell them what to do, and they're ready and they're waiting. So not only in her case, but if you have busy front office, like you have 10-12 patients every hour coming in the front office, instead of hiring like 3 people, you just have one person just telling them to go through the kiosk. When they go through the kiosk, you know that you got in what you needed.
Yeah.
As a doctor and as a practice manager, you know what you got it what you needed. So what you needed. So that, I think that's a critical aspect of the workflow.
Right.
So my background, if you don't know, I have a Six Sigma Master Black Belt. That means that Six Sigma is all about process improvement. So whenever I look at any business processes, I see that where is the friction?
Yeah.
And that friction is what you always have to keep an eye on. And if you remove that friction, your patient experience improves, your business improves, at the end, your bottom line improves.
I mean, I love how you and let me ask you this. So the kind of idea and the genesis of the whole creating the kiosk, did that start when you were at the airport and you were sitting at that kiosk? Or was it before, or was it something else?
Yeah, no. So this started, I'll tell you 2 things that happened. Amazon is working on a retail store that doesn't need.
Oh yeah, I've been in one of those.
That doesn't need like you just need to go to the checkout place, right? You just go, you just shop with your phone, and you leave. And that's they're building the future right there. So I was in Sam's Club. They have an app where you can just go and you can scan everything and you can put in your basket. Like, this is where the future is moving. And people who are in DSOs, big DSOs, they're looking at this and saying, how can we make the check-ins easy? How can we make the checkouts easy? And I think the private offices also need to think through that. Just having that vision in your mind that this is what's coming. And so the first thing was at the Sam's Club at the grocery store.
So then you were thinking, you're like, let me see how this works.
And then the airport, and I'm like, everybody is working on removing that friction of dealing with somebody before the check-in.
So, again, makes total sense. And for the doctors who are watching this right now, I mean, again, think about your daily, like going to the grocery store, going to like a McDonald's or even the airport. a lot of times, and I'm the same way. If I see a long line there, I'm going to the self-checkout. I'm just going to do it myself, no problem, you know. And so again, I think like at the dental practice, you know, we had Osman on earlier, and he was talking about like, look, we're not forcing anyone to do anything. There's two options there, and I think that that's great to have those options for those patients who just want to do it themselves. Let me ask you this: as you know, launch this, and now more practices are using it. As far as like the training goes, how's that when it comes to that? Was there a lot of issues there with the practices that you worked with as far as getting into their workflow?
So the thing is that when you're talking about training, good thing about this thing is that your employees are going to deal less with it.
Yeah.
Because the thing is that mostly the patients are using it, and it's self-checking, right? I want you to think about this one example. And when you told me about standing in the line, you go to McDonald's these days, they have a kiosk, huge kiosk sitting right there. You can go deal. I mean, you can even order to the cashier, or you can just do it right there and just it will print out this.
And just wait.
So, how much technology does that cashier have to deal with that kiosk? Almost zero.
No, nothing.
Right. So in the back end,
they just point to it. You know,
right. In the back end, our tech team actually takes care of
that.
And I feel very proud of that, just because, you know, that's the one technology where your staff have to deal really, really low from the time perspective.
You just have to plug it in.
Plug it in, yeah.
That's it. That's all you got to do.
Yeah,
you know?
Plug it in, maybe 10 minutes of training.
I love that. Now, as far as the whole platform goes, again, you've been on before. We talked about the forums. Again, I want to lead with the fact that there's so many different platforms out there. But what you have to ask yourself is, does it do the core job correctly and efficiently? You can have all the bells and whistles. You can have all these things. You can have more different features. But if it can't get the data that we need, what good is it, right? It doesn't do anything. But as far as having this kiosk function, how does that work for those who are, you know, they've been on the fence and they're thinking about mConsent? Is that like an additional thing? Are you putting that as part of the whole package? How's that all set up?
I'll tell you this. This will not work for everybody. And I'm going to be very honest.
Okay.
It's not for everybody.
So I want to point out you saying that, because again, if he was just selling something, he would just say, "Oh, this is the greatest thing ever." So you're admitting, like, you know, some offices are not.
No, you just have to know if there's something, because not everything is built for everybody.
Yes.
If you're not a busy office and you're just going to see 5 patients, you know who they're, and you're just fine with that, and I don't think it's going to work for you.
Yeah. And if you're still doing paper charts, this is nothing going to work.
Yeah. So if you're doing paper charts and you're comfortable with that, I'm not going to sell you that.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you that it's only for people who are struggling with patients waiting for them to talk. Okay. It's for people who are struggling to hire enough staff members and they don't have enough help in the front office, right? So that's when I would come and say that, hey, we can help you.
Yeah.
Else, no, you're good with what you have right now.
Yeah. I love that. And so for those who they want to take advantage of this, right? Again, not too many. There's other platforms that say they do a kiosk function. Just to let you know, I'm one of the beta testers as well. It is a true kiosk, and I love it. Again, some people may not like going to kiosks when they go to the stores. I'm that guy, actually, that goes to the self-checkout all the time, because, you know, at the end of the day, look, if I want to talk to someone, I could just yell across and say, "Hey, how you doing?" But a lot of times I just want to get my groceries and leave. Same thing at McDonald's. I want to get whatever my kid wants and just leave. So I love that. So again, for those who they want to explore this, they want to see this, what's the best way to get
Yeah, what I would say is that get a demo.
Okay.
And, get a demo, learn a little bit about it, see if it's a good fit for you. And we have a team. We have an amazing team. And if you want to talk to them, 877-203-6767 or at www.mconsent.net.
And we're gonna have all the links in the show notes. And if you guys are in the group, I routinely keep this guy busy. I tag him. Now I'm actually starting to tag Zach a little bit more, because we got to get that guy to work a little bit more. But before, I always like to tag the man here, and you can still talk to him as well, ask him any questions there. But again, I think the first step you said, just do the demo, see the core product, make sure that works for you, and then you can also explore the
So I'll tell one thing that I want people to remember is that we have put in a lot of time and effort with hundreds of offices to understand how we can make life easier of the front office. Whatever you do, whether you do digital payments, patient communication, text messaging, whatever you do at the front office, we have put a lot of time to make sure that we are able to help them in the best possible manner. And that's why this software is in place, which reflects what we want to do.
All right, Samad, thank you so much for joining us, guys. I will have everything in the show notes, and of course, if you're in the Nifty group, he's going to get tagged. You can reach out to him, but again, Zach is a valuable team member on mConsent team. Show him some love. Reach out to him. You don't have to bother this guy all the time. You can, but you can reach out to Zach. But thank you so much, guys.
Thank you, Nifty Thrifty for having me.
Yeah,
thank you,
thank
Glenn,
you
for having me. Amazing experience. Always talking to you.
I appreciate you. Thanks.